I was born and raised in Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. That's all I'll ever be. I'm not cosmic at all. I'm spiritual in my own way. I listen to what Abram has to say because he knows what he's talking about. It took me a long time to trust him, but I trust him implicitly. You need to understand that you are not from your planet Earth. No one is from planet Earth. All people on your planet Earth are from elsewhere. Their origin is from elsewhere in the universe. Could be Sirius A, Sirius B, could be the Pleiades, could be Orion, could be anywhere. No one is from your planet Earth. I say the event creates time. There is no time. As you know time, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. This is a man-made construct. When you die, there will be no time. There will be only experience. As I am working with Tom, I am still existing in an alternate dimension of your present reality as the Mayan shaman, still working with people with illnesses and ailments. Still there, but I am with Tom also, here and now, because there's only here and now.
My guest today is Tom Massari, a pioneering sleep medium who has channeled Abram's ancient wisdom for over 52 years. He is the author of The Art Reclaiming Your Intention and Power. He has guided countless seekers through thousands of sessions worldwide and has mentored many of today's leading voices in metaphysics. Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
First off, I'd love to ask you, who is Abraham?
It's not Abraham, it's Abram. Abram claims to have had 3 physical lives, one on the continent of Atlantis, another one during the time of Jesus, and his latest was as a Mayan shaman in the Mayan civilization. So those are his 3 lives that he's had, and he says he doesn't need any more physical lives. He's learned everything he needed to learn and experienced everything he needed to experience. So we have been going by Abram the Mayan shaman because that's been his last life. And I think that is maybe his most influential life, maybe, as a Mayan shaman.
What do you mean by his most influential life?
He was, well, let me put it this way. Every life that a person has, when you reincarnate, you experience what you need to experience. Then you can move on to your next life if you choose to do so. I think in that life, he learned the most about time and space and making calendars and treating people for illnesses and things like that. So that's how he presents himself to me. That's how he's always been presenting himself to me as the Mayan shaman.
And how did you first enter in contact with Abram?
I was in 1972. I was living in California. I was dating a girl who had 3 sons. Every time I went into one of the bedrooms of the son, I always felt like someone was there, but I could never see anybody. So I figured there's a ghost in the bedroom. We had a friend visiting us one night, and I said, we're not doing anything. Let's go in the bedroom and see if we could talk to the ghost. We had no idea what we were doing. So we
Why
went
not?
Huh?
Why not? I love it.
Yeah, let's try it, see what happens. So we go into the bedroom and started asking questions, and I started getting answers, but I didn't hear anything, but the answers were inside of me. So somebody would ask a question, and I would say, okay, this is what I'm getting. After a while of doing that, we all kind of felt like a little nauseous and heaviness on our chest, which is 2 of the classic signs when you experience ghost phenomena a lot of times. So I said, let's get out of here. Let's go into the front room. People call it the living room. Being from Chicago, I call it the front room. I was born and raised in Chicago. So they went into the front room, and I went into the kitchen to get a drink of water. And on my way to the front room, I was stopped. I couldn't move. I felt this huge energy around me. First time I ever experienced that in my life. So I said, watch me. Something is happening. Make sure I'm going to be okay. I started reciting Shakespeare. And for a few minutes, I would be this character reciting Shakespeare, and a few minutes I would be back to Tom. This went on for 3 hours. He gave the name, this personality gave the name of John Rolfs. So after it was all done, I figured, okay, I'm either crazy or this was real. And if I'm crazy, I'll get help and I'll be okay. And if this is real, if it happens again, I'll see where it goes. So having given the name John Rolfs, I went into a library. I figured if it's real, I should be able to find this guy. Late 1700s in England, he was a Shakespearean actor. I found him in a library book. Then I knew it was real. So a short time after that, Abram announced himself as Abram and had no idea who Abram was. But I figured, okay, the energy changed. It was completely different. And I thought, okay, now it's Abram, so we'll see what happens. 52 years later, it's still happening. That's how I got connected with Abram. It just, one night it just happened.
Now I'm curious, do you have an understanding today of why it happened to you and why did you connect with him specifically?
Yeah. And you can ask a lot of other real, authentic channels, and they'll probably give you the same story. Abram explained that in between my physical lives, somewhere, somehow, he and I had gotten together and discussed the possibility of my working as a channel in this life for him. So I guess that's how it all started. Then I was born and, it's 1972, it all happened all of a sudden out of nowhere.
So it was some kind of agreement that you had before coming here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What has been some of the most surprising messages that you've received from him over the years, and some of the things that stuck to you in particular?
One, there are a lot of them. One was somebody was talking to him about the ego, and he said there is no ego. He said, people always say you have to get rid of your ego. The ego is the enemy and stuff like that. He said there is no ego. There is only emotional expression. That's what people think the ego is. So that was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool to me, Another one was a long time ago. Something was going on with my body that I thought I was getting sick. So my wife asked him about it, and he said, this is what's going on. This is how to take care of it. He'll be fine. He needs to do this and this and that. So when it was done, when our private session was done, I did what he told me, and I was better. Ever since, anytime something is going on with my body or my wife's body, we would talk to Abram, and he would tell us exactly what to do to feel better. He has never been wrong. That to me is crazy. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, he's like my Dr. Abram, you know what I mean?
I love it.
There have been a lot of other things. I can't pinpoint anything right now, but there have been a lot of things where I just stepped back and said, wow, that's pretty crazy. I never thought of that. How could that be? One thing that he did tell us was, we have a dog. We have a 170-pound Great Dane. He's huge. Uh-huh. So he told us, he said, if you have a dog, watch your dog, because you can learn a lot from your dog, because dogs don't judge. And they don't live by time, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock. They function on their instinct. And life and death to them are the same. They don't have any judgment about life or death.
I'm curious if there are some misconceptions that you see around what channeling is, and something that you'd like to clarify with the audience.
Everybody wants to be a channel. Everybody claims to be a channel or a medium. And most of them are not. I believe, and this is what Abram taught us, you have to be born into being a channel or a medium or a musician or an author. Like the past masters, painters, didn't go to a 4-week class on art and all of a sudden become a master. You have to be born into it. And there are some channels that I know have been born into it. You can tell right away. And you can tell right away who is really not a channel. What they go through to connect with their supposed source, it's too much. It doesn't look real. And you can feel when someone is real or not. So I'm probably the most skeptical person that there is on people being channels and mediums. Because in 52 years, I've seen a lot,
And I'm curious, what do you think happens when you have some people like this that seems to be channeling, but are not really channeling? Because a lot of them are pretty convincing. What do you think is happening? Are they connecting with something else, with their higher self, or what do you think is happening? Or are they connecting with something, but there are maybe some distortion in the message that is coming through, and it's not as clear of a transmission as it could be?
Yeah, because if they're not real, they're interfering with their own conscious mind. And whatever they're getting, they're interpreting in their words. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when Abram, for example, comes and he talks, I stay out of his way. I let him do what he wants to do because he knows what he's doing. I don't have to interpret his words, and I wouldn't dare interpret his words, But,
Actually, I was curious about what is your process of connecting with Abram? How does it work for you?
I don't know. The only thing that I do is I take a minute. I tell people, give me a minute, and I'll see you when it's all done. And mentally, I say, okay, I'm ready whenever you are. Within a minute, the connection is made. Now, he explains it as his consciousness, and probably other real channels will explain it this way also. His consciousness merges with my consciousness. He doesn't come into my body like some channels will say, well, he steps into my body and it takes over my body. Doesn't happen that way. So there's a merging of consciousnesses that takes place. And then he starts talking, or I start talking for him, or I don't know. 52 years later, I still don't know how it works, but it works.
And how do you experience it? Are you aware of the discussion, or is it like stepping out and stepping in? How do you experience it yourself?
Pretty much like when it's happening, it's pretty much like I'm sleeping. I could be aware of what he says from time to time, but when he's done saying it, it's gone. It's like in a dream. I don't remember it.
It's really fascinating. I'm curious if you'd like to bring Abram forward. I have a few questions that I'd like to ask him, and then we can wrap things up afterward, and I'll have a few more questions to ask you.
All right, give me a minute, then I'll see you when it's all done.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely. Hello, my friend.
Hi. Thank you for being with us today. My first question for you is, what is the shift that humanity is currently going through?
People talk about a grand shift taking place. A shift somewhere out of their own immediacy, out of their reality, and that shift is causing everyone else to shift. People also talk about the new Earth, 5D Earth, and everyone is raising their consciousness, and these are things that are going to happen, and you cannot stop them, and all the rest. I say, a shift will never take place until the people shift within themselves. So, as an example only, if you are thinking that a grand shift is taking place, in order to experience that shift, You have to shift within yourself emotionally. You have to take a look at all of your beliefs, and those that do not serve you, you have to let them go or change them. Also, take a look at all of the patterns that you have been functioning with your entire lifetime. Many people function with patterns of guilt and dismay and all the rest. And I tell them, there is no guilt. There is only your feeling that you let yourself down. But since you create everything, you cannot let yourself down. So the grand shift that people say is taking place will not take place until people change within themselves. You understand that?
We are creating the shift as much as anything else.
Absolutely. The shift does not create you. You create the shift. Yes.
And my understanding is that there are some forces that makes this time more suitable for going through this kind of shift. And my understanding is that you had a life with the Mayan, and
Yes.
you had the Mayan calendar, which predicted something happening in 2012.
Yes.
I'm curious if you could reconcile both. First, the idea that the shift is individual, and if we don't change, there's no shift happening, but also some of the more cosmic tendencies that helps in this shift.
Thank you. People talk about things happening in their life. I feel something is taking place. I feel a shift is happening. I feel things are changing. This is a good thing because this will allow me to have more of what I want in my life. And I can then raise my consciousness to a high degree and I will be a brand new person. Well, that person needs to understand that he or she creates the reality. Reality will not create them. They create their reality. You probably have heard that many, 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 many times. It is getting to be an old saying, you create your reality. But it is true and it is real. As you express yourself emotionally, you change the structure of your reality. As you have thoughts, you change the structure of your reality. As you take action or have reaction to something or someone, you change the structure of your reality. So, in essence, everything you do, think, say will change your reality. Now, as your reality will change, people think that since reality is changing, they had a rise in their consciousness to a great degree. Your consciousness is what it is. People can raise their consciousness to a slight degree. This is all they need, not a grand degree. That will not happen. Many times that begins to happen when people die and they find themselves, as you people say, on the other side. But there is no other side because everything happens right here and right now. Past, present, and future are all here and right now. So when people talk about things that are going to happen in a future time, if they would understand that there is no time, they would also understand that all of those things that are going to happen in a future time are happening right now. Now, many times things happen in other dimensions of your present reality. What you cannot accomplish in this present reality of yours, you will accomplish in a dimension of this present reality that works like dreams. When you dream, you review and preview life's events many times. And if you are working on a project as you are awake and functioning in your daytime reality and you are having a hard time, you will dream about a fix. And in your dream, you will understand how to change, fix, create, or recreate what you are working on as you are awake in your daytime routine. Many times in dreams, people enter other dimensions of their reality also. This is what I call dimensional dreaming. They are awake but asleep at the same time in a different dimension. And when they are in that dimension, they are dealing with different variations of energy. Now, understand that everything is energy. There is only one energy. Everything is energy. But energy has variations of itself within itself. Let me explain that. As you are dealing with reality, your reality changes because the energy of your reality will change based on a variation of energy itself. As you experience a change in your reality, something can change in your reality. You are experiencing a variation of energy. The variation will cause the change in your reality. But again, people need to change within before a change can happen without or outside of them in their reality. People talk about activating their third eye, activating their DNA. I tell people your third eye is functioning properly. Your DNA is working properly. You don't need to activate it. It has been active. It was activated many thousands of years ago by those who created you. I also tell people, if you are thinking about possibly alien DNA inside of you, you need to understand that you are not from your planet Earth. No one is from planet Earth. All people on your planet Earth are from elsewhere. Their origin is from elsewhere in the universe. Could be Sirius A, Sirius B, could be the Pleiades, could be Orion, could be anywhere. No one is from your planet Earth. You people have created your planet Earth, and it has been created for you as a playground. A playground. People need to stop taking advantage of planet Earth because as it is a living being just like you and everyone else, it has emotions just like you and everyone else. Your Earth has become a bit angry. This is why you are having volcanoes, more earthquakes, stronger and stronger and stronger storms, and all the rest. People need to start taking care of planet Earth. Treat it like a baby. It offers you everything you need in life. It offers you everything. Offer it back what it needs. Take care of it. I tell people, plant a tree, plant a bush, plant some flowers. Talk to your planet Earth. And people think that that is crazy. But since your planet Earth is a living being, it has consciousness. It is consciousness, just like you. And when you talk to it, it understands you. I also tell people, and people think this is really crazy, go out in nature. Experience the energy of nature. Pick out a tree. Go up to the tree. Place your hand on the tree. Feel the energy of the tree. Then hug the tree and ask the tree to tell you a story of its life. And people think that I am out of my mind telling them that. But when they do it, they get something from the tree. When you ask of a tree, the tree will give it to you. All nature will give you what you need. All nature. All you have to do is ask of nature to give you what you want or what you need. Same thing with the universe. The universe is there to supply you with everything you want, everything you need in life. Ask of the universe and you will get it. You might have to ask a few times, but you will get it. People also think that they are the masters of all life on your planet Earth. People, you are not the masters of all life. There is animal life, there is insect life, mammals, and all the rest. And let me tell you, and maybe you will not believe it, but just think about this. You are all equal. You are equal with an insect. You are equal with an animal. You are equal with a mammal. You are equal with nature. You are equal with everything. There is only equality. In nature, you find equality and cooperation. I call nature my God. Everyone has their God. This is a good thing. Nature is my God. because it is all about cooperation and allowance. If there are two trees growing close together, they will grow as one tree. Cooperation. Everything is equal. Everyone is equal. Many people treat animals in a disrespectful way. Watch animals. You can learn a lot from animals because they do not judge. They live in the moment only. And they can teach you how to function and operate more with instinct instead of your judgment. Too many people are judging and trying to control. When you judge, you try to control. When you try to control, things get out of control. This is the way energy works. When you try to control, things get out of control. Might be a good thing to allow instead of control, because when you allow, things all work out for your highest good. Allow and accept. And people have a hard time with certain, well, I am in a situation, I just do not like the situation. I have to change the situation. I have to absolutely change the situation. I have to control a different outcome. Stop it. Look at the situation as just being a situation, nothing more than that. Just look at it as being just a situation. Take the importance away from it. Take the anxiety off of it. You then will not judge it. Then you can accept it for what it is, just a situation, and you can begin to allow it to change itself for your highest good. And it always does. Everything always works out for people's highest good. All people have to do is let things work out for them. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it opened many, many new doors, and
Good.
but I'm quite excited to go a little bit down some of them. One of the question I have, and it's actually on your last point. You mentioned that allowance and trust is a key part of the process, and you need to trust that whatever happens for you. And there's a saying that says, life is happening for you, not to you.
Yes.
I'm curious if you can expand on why is that so? Why is it that life is happening to me and that the universe is supporting me and that whatever happens to me is happening for a positive reason? I think it can help people to gain more trust in the process.
There is only one energy. Everything is energy. Everyone is equal. You are all equal with your universe. You create your universe, recreate your universe with your thoughts and your emotions and how you express yourself. And this is how you create and recreate and change and fix your reality also. Life is happening all the time because of you, all of you. Life does not happen to you. It happens for you to express yourself in the ways that you need to express yourself so that, and pay attention please to this one, so that you can experience the experience of who, what, and why you are. That can be tricky to understand. But as you go throughout life, and this happens for everyone has the same thing happening to them in their lifetime. You go throughout your life and you experience yourself in different ways and you question yourself. Why am I acting like this? Why cannot I act in a different way, the way I would really like to act? Well, you can. What do you mean you can? Well, thank you for asking. I will tell you. You must nothing, you should nothing, you have to really nothing, but you can everything. So all of those things that you think you have to do, you can do them if you would like to do them. You don't have to do them. You must nothing. You should nothing. Because that brings up self-doubt. And when you doubt yourself, you begin doubting everything about your life and about the universe as well. People all think that the universe is separate from them. Earth is separate from them. Animals, insects are separate from them. Again, everything is connected. Everything is connected. When you really understand that, you then will begin treating yourself in a nice, gentle way. And doing that, you can treat everything and everyone else in a nice, gentle way. Stop trying to control people. You cannot control them. Stop trying to change people. If there is someone you do not like, don't try to change that person. Change you. Change you. Stop reacting to that person. Accept the person just the way he is or she is, because they are not going to change. If they want to change, they will. But you cannot change them. All you can change is you.
What it makes me think of is source contracts. And I'm curious if you could expand on what source contracts are. First, if they are real, then what they are, but also what is the relationship between source contracts and free will and how the two play together.
Before people are born, they create a design for their life. In that design is found everything they will experience in their lifetime. Maybe, as an example, a part of their design is to become a channel, a medium, an artist, a writer, or just a regular person who really does not enjoy their life. As that person will go throughout his or her life not enjoying it, they are understanding about who, what, and why they are. You do not have to, and people do not have to, have a grand life. You can have a life of a bum, a hobo, or an aristocrat. Does not matter. They are all equal. The bum is equal with the aristocrat. You have presidents, you have vice presidents, and you have senators and all the rest, and they are equal with you. They are not above you. They do not control you. You command yourself. You do not control, you command. Commanding is more allowing yourself to be what you can be. Now, I tell people, realize who, what, and why you are. Who are you? You have a name, so this is who you are. You can't have any name. It does not matter. What are you? You are a creative source of all creation in, of, and around your reality. Now, here is the tricky one. Why are you? People don't know why they are. Why you are is to create and recreate that playground of your planet Earth so that you can be more creative and enjoy yourself more and more and more in and during your lifetime. This is who, what, and why you are. Does not matter who you are. You can change your name. You can take on a different identity. And by the way, every time you have a thought, you express yourself, you say words, take action, have a reaction, you are changing your identity. So it is never static. It does not stay the same. Your identity is always changing. People talk about higher mind. Well, I want to get in touch with my higher mind. How can I get in touch with my higher mind? Does the higher mind talk to the lower mind? Does it control the lower mind? And I say, stop. Your higher mind is an umbrella term for your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious minds. An umbrella term. They all integrate with and within each other. They all communicate. There is no lower mind. No lower mind. People talk about lower mind and elementals and all of those things that people drive themselves crazy inventing all of these things that are really not real. Could be real to them because they believe it, but too many times if you believe something that is not real, it becomes your reality, and you do not want that. So what you can do instead is take a hard look at how you are creating your reality. All people, take a hard look at how you are creating your reality. And if something is not just right, allow it to change by imagining it changing. Change how you function emotionally. Since there is only one power, let me say you are the power. You are the one power. What are your emotions? Love, joy, sorrow, sadness, anxiety. No, those are not emotions. Those are labels. Those are judgments in themselves. All emotions are equal. They are all the same because they all function with one power. Anger has a power. Joy has a power. Love has a power. Anxiety has a power. It is the same power. So if you are experiencing an emotion that is not comfortable for you, change it by imagining it as being a different emotion, a different expression of you. Feel the power of the emotion that you are experiencing, not the emotion, not the label. Feel the power and imagine that power is changing into a different, what you call emotion. And it works every time, every time, every time. What else, my
You
friend?
mentioned that time is not linear. I'm curious if you could expand on your understanding of how time works. I know it can get tricky pretty quickly, but I'd love if you can kind of tickle the mind a little bit and see how far we can get on this one.
Good, thank you. People say time creates the event. I say the event creates time. There is no time. As you know time, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. This is a man-made construct that allows you to function properly during your day, during your evening, and throughout your life in your present physical reality. When you die, there will be no time. There will be only experience. Experience. And that has nothing to do with time. Everything you do, think, say, feel, smell, taste is happening within you with no time. You are non-time, all of you, all people, you are non-time. Every event you create creates more time as you understand time, so that you can create another event and create more time. Time is here and now only, as the past, present, and future are here and now only. It can only be that way. Because you, all of you, all people, you are here and now only, in the moment only. There are no other moments. There is a past. You have a past in your life that is gone. You think about your future. It is not yet here. Everything is here right now. Your past is still here. Your present is still here. And people think, well, in my past, I must have done something bad because, oh boy, I'm paying for it now. Karma. There is no karma. There is only the chance at perfection. Don't ever try to be perfect. You cannot be perfect because if you are perfect, there is no room for growth. You cannot become a master of anything. Not even Jesus the Christ was a master. There are no masters. There have never been masters, because when you are a master, there is no room for growth, no room for improvement. Be who, what, and why you are. Function that way. Things might be a bit nicer for you. Try it out. See how it works for you. Don't think in terms of time. Think in terms of experience. You are your experience. Daytime is your experience. Nighttime is your experience. Everything you do in your daytime and your nighttime, everything is your experience. You can only experience the experience of yourself. That can be tricky to understand. Now, on the other hand, if you believe in time, go ahead, believe in time. See how it works for you. If it is not working in the best way, change how you think about time. Think about time as being an illusion, because your reality is an illusion. Everything is an illusion, because everything is energy. Nothing is real. It is all energy. But energy is real. And you create with, from, and by energy what you need to experience the experience of yourself during the course of any and all lifetimes.
Follow-up question to this is, a lot of people use the framework of timelines. I'm curious, what is your understanding of timelines? Are there an infinite of timelines? Is it always at the 3D level of creating this linearity of time? And is there something or one thing as the future, or there are actually many probable futures and we create the future every time?
There are possible and probable futures, just like there are possible and probable pasts and presents, the present time. Possible and probable futures, they depend on what you do now, how you express yourself now, what experience you are in now, because what you do now creates your future time. Timelines are ideas that can be set into motion so that people can experience themselves in different ways and experience their life in different ways and experience their state of spirituality in different ways. I don't see timelines because I see everything as being right here and right now. There's only one time. That time is right here and right now. So changing how you function, you change the here and now. It stays the here and now, but it changes within its own structure to suit you, to allow you to become who, what, and why you are in a different way, if this is something you want to do. Many people do not want to change. This is good for them. They just trod through their life being not really happy about anything, but just putting up with things because, well, I cannot change anything. I just go about my business and do the best I can. Good for you. But as you are doing that, enjoy it. People don't enjoy things. They don't enjoy too many things in the present. And there are many things to not enjoy. Many people are trying to control you, all people, trying to control everyone else, trying to control everything. Leave everything alone. Leave people alone. Leave yourself alone and understand that not only are you the creator of it all, you can change any of it by changing yourself. Change within, and you have that change without in your outer reality.
I'd love to change topic and go a little bit deeper on the Mayan society. You mentioned that you had a past life, or I think Tom mentioned that you had a past life within the Mayan civilization. I'm curious if you could talk about one of the surprising facts and things we don't know about the Mayan civilization, about what was the life like in this civilization.
As I was in the Mayan civilization as a shaman, there were other shamans, and we had all gotten together to understand the mechanism of time and the universe. As we perfected our calendar based on the movement of stars and galaxies in the skies, we determined that in 2012 there would be an ending, but not an ending to life, but an ending in the form of a change in identity for all people. And that happened. People had a change take place in their identity. They began to see themselves in a different way, in a more spiritual way. And many people had begun leaving religion, standard religion, to explore spirituality. And this is a good thing, because religion has become all about control and guilt and fear. The real, original religion was all about love and compassion. This is religion, love and compassion. We understood time based on how we function during our daytime and our nighttime. We understood that time was a part of our beingness, and we expressed ourselves in that way as we were recreating, this is tricky to understand, recreating the foundation of our realities based on the mechanisms of the movement of the stars and galaxies in the sky. That is time. The movement of the stars and galaxies. If you want to call it time, that is time. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, this is not time. That is a control mechanism so that you can run your life in the proper way or what you think is the proper way. But as long as you are doing it, enjoy it. Enjoy doing it that way. Because when there is no enjoyment, there is resentment. Also, have no expectation of anything in life. Because when you have no expectation, you can never be disappointed. People expect things in a certain way, and they don't happen, and they wonder why. Because you are trying to control things, and things will get out of control. Another thing, as I was a Mayan shaman, as we worked with people with illness and helped them to heal, we understood the body and the spirit as a total being. Your doctors today, they are doing the best they can. They are doing a very good job. But they overlook the energy body and focus on the physical body only. They really should begin, they can, not should, but they can begin to take into account the energetic, emotional body also, because emotions will cause illness many times. Emotions cause illness. So check your emotions. If they are not working right or properly, change them. Remember, there is only one power driving all of what you call emotions. Key in on the power. Change the outcome, the emotion, the outcome. Change it with your imagination. Doctors are doing a very good job presently in your society. But if they were to focus a bit more on the energetic body and the emotional body, their diagnoses would be entirely different. They would not be handing out pills, medications, inoculations, and all the rest. They would be teaching people how to manage their emotional state of being more so that they can enhance their health a bit more. Do you understand that? Of course you understand that, my friend.
I think today's science and classic history still doesn't really know what happened to the Mayan civilization. I'm curious if you have some insights to share on what happened to the civilization.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this has happened to other civilizations, and it will continue to happen to civilizations as well. People say, well, there must have been historians. Well, there must have been a war. The Incas must have killed all the Mayans. Someone else killed all the Mayans. Everyone is gone. We cannot find anything. They cannot find not even a bone. If we were all killed by Incas or someone else, there would at least be bones around. Bones take a long time to disintegrate. There would be some thing that would corroborate a war. What happened is we had understood our time. Here we go again with time. Our time was complete on planet Earth in this reality. In waves of people, we had walked into another dimension, and this sounds crazy. We had walked into another dimension of reality. We still exist there. As I am working with Tom, I am still existing in an alternate dimension of your present reality as the Mayan shaman, still working with people with illnesses and ailments. Still there. But I am with Tom also, here and now, because there's only here and now. You decide when your time is done on your planet Earth and just walk into a different dimension. You still exist there. Everything is still real for you there, but you are not here. You are done with this present reality, and you have no need to return to it because you are completely functional in an alternate dimension, or call it an alternate reality, however you would like to look at it. But we simply walked into a different dimension. We found the portals that allowed us to do that, the doorways, the gateways that allowed us to do that. And understanding time as the movement of the heavens, we opened those doorways for ourselves. We opened them and walked through them. Not all of us at one time, in waves of many of us, wave after wave after wave of us, walking through, this sounds crazy, and finding ourselves in the next dimension. This is how it happened, my friend.
Now the question I have is, what does this other dimension looks like? Is it like a duplicate of Earth that is somewhat a little bit different, or is it very different from what we have today on this dimension?
It can be a duplicate of your planet Earth. It can be very different. It all depends upon what you need to experience and how you need to experience yourself in that experience or in that dimension. When people die, they leave behind their physical body. People fear death. I tell people, imagine you are in your house, you are in your kitchen, and you walk into your living room or a bedroom. This is what death is. You simply walk into a different room of your reality, your experience. And when you are in non-physical form, you take with you all of your emotions, beliefs, and attitudes, and all the rest, but they only last a short time because you realize yourself as being a different being in a different reality, in a different dimension. But slowly, everything becomes real for you, just like it was in your physical reality. It all begins all over again. It is all real. Dimensions can, if you need it to be this way, can be a duplicate of your present reality, your present Earth, or can be anything else that you need to experience at the point in time. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Abram, thank you so much for all of the information that you shared with us today. Do you have any parting messages for the audience?
Yes, and thank you for that. Take a look at your life, all of you. Take a look at your life. Just take a look at your life when you have time. But here we go again with time. And if there is something not right, something you would like to change, imagine it changing, but imagine it changing in the now, not in next month or next year. Well, I want to change this, but I have to do this and that and these and them and those to allow the change, and it's going to take time. No, it is not going to take time, because when you think about it, you have already changed it. At that point, all you have to do is allow the change to become a reality in your reality. Take charge of your reality, charge in a positive way, not in a controlling way, but command your reality to give you what you need. It is there for you because you had created it. It can only serve you in the best way for your highest good. All you have to do is allow it. Oh, well, thank you, my friend. I've enjoyed being with you. I love you.
Thank you so much. Welcome back.
How'd it go?
It was great. Great. I love the energy. I love the information. It was really easy to understand as well. Sometimes with channelers and channels and information that is channel, it can be a little bit difficult to understand, but this time it was really great.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm curious, how do you feel after a channeling session like this one? Do you feel energized? Do you feel a little bit more tense? What impact does it have on your overall body?
When I first started, I would be drained and I would have a headache or an upset stomach. But after doing it for all these years, if I don't feel good before I do a session, I always feel better afterwards, always. So it's like, it's healing for me.
You mentioned at the beginning of the episode that you don't think everyone can channel. I'm curious, how can people discover that maybe channeling is for them? I don't know if the question is clear, but who do you think channeling is for, and how can people discover that?
Okay, I'm not plugging Abram here. I'm not plugging what I have to offer, okay? Abram gives a 6-week course in developing your abilities. And he can tell a person, yes, you were born into it, or no, you were not born into it, but you have these abilities, and here's how to enhance those abilities so you can work with them. But you were not born into it. And on the other hand, yeah, you were born into it. You're a real medium, real channel. So, let's get down to business and really elevate your ability to be the best that you can. People can take classes with other channels and mediums and psychics and all the rest. But really, if the person feels easy to you, then go ahead. If you find a person that you want to take a class with, for an example, if you have an easy feeling in your gut, good, pursue it. If it's uneasy, walk away from it.
What is the one message that you'd like to share with the audience today?
I think probably what I would like to share is I was born and raised in Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. That's all I'll ever be. I'm not cosmic at all. I'm spiritual in my own way. I listen to what Abram has to say because he knows what he's talking about. Took me a long time to trust him, but I trust him implicitly. So the best thing that I can do for myself is to stop judging things, because I still judge. I'm a person. I'm a human being. Everybody judges, Catch myself judging, and I stop. And I start enjoying what I do. And sometimes it's hard because I'm just a kid from Chicago. But, if you can stop judging and enjoy what you're doing, you'll probably be happier. Because I am when I stop judging. I feel happy.
I love this. You mentioned that you had some challenges trusting him in the beginnings. I'm curious, what were some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, when I lived in LA, I hooked up with a very prominent doctor at the time, and he was working with a woman patient who had either muscular dystrophy or multiple sclerosis. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But he was telling Abram that he wasn't having results. So Abram started telling him, do this, and do this, and do this. And I was hearing Abram, and I was thinking, my God, I hope he knows what he's talking about, because I don't want him to come back and sue me because his patient got worse or something. I was really like, my God, what is this guy saying? The doctor came back a month or so later and told Abram that what Abram told him was working. Then I started trusting Abram. And I figured, okay, now I know he knows what he's talking about. So I'm just going to stay out of his way, let him do what he knows how to do, and everybody's going to be happy. But yeah, when you start being when you start channeling, if you're a real channel, when you start, you're going to have issues. Yeah, everyone does. Trust issues. And it takes a while for you to trust who you're working with, because you have to know that source knows what they're doing. Takes a while and it took me, I tell people, if you want to be a channel, the hardest part is to get out of the way emotionally. Just get out of the way emotionally. If you're having a good day or a bad day, you have to take all of those emotions and set them aside and become emotionally null. Then you can let your source in. It took me, I had nobody to talk to. There were only a few of us channeling, so I had to figure all this out by myself. It took me 8 years to learn how to get out of the way. But
that's one of the key messages that came out of our chat with Abram today as well, is really the power of emotions and how much impact emotions have on your own vibration. And I guess in your case, it's how you can connect with other vibrations, but in what Abram said is how emotion can shape your reality.
Yeah. Emotions are crazy things. He talks about and maybe he talked about this today, was that all emotions are judgments. They're labels. And the real emotion is the power in the emotion. And I'm still learning this. Just a kid from Chicago. I'm just a regular person. I'm still learning this. But yeah, if you think about it, every emotion has a power, but it's the same power. There could only be one power because there is only one energy, you know.
Mm.
And we are all, I think we are all that one power and that one energy.
Mm. I'm curious, how do you typically address skepticism? First, do you face a lot of skepticism? Has it evolved over the years, and how do you typically address it?
No, I don't face any skepticism now. When I first started, I did. And it was getting to me, you know, and I was thinking, man, come on, man, you know, I want you to like what I'm doing, you know. And it's like that. And it got to a point where I said, you know what? Forget about it. Go ahead, be skeptical. You can call me a fraud. I've had people call me a fraud, a fake. I've had somebody say I was schizophrenic. And I figured, you know what? Go ahead. Enjoy it. Have fun. Because I'm not going to let it bother me anymore. I don't have any skepticism anymore. Probably because I'm not skeptical of what I'm doing anymore. You know?
Mm. You mentioned schizophrenia. I'm curious if you have a take on this. How much of what is currently identified as being schizophrenia and someone being schizophrenic is actually probably something totally different that is a very real and normal phenomena that is just not understood by the person and the society at large.
Yeah, Abram talks a lot about people who are labeled insane and put in homes for the insane. Those people are just fine. They're living in their own reality. They don't understand time like we do. They have their own understanding of time, their own understanding of space and reality, and they're doing just fine. He says if people, like the doctors, for example, if they can learn how to communicate with those people in their reality, they would understand that those people are doing just fine. You know, it's like autism. People with autism, they're fine. And people with Alzheimer's. My mother had Alzheimer's. People with Alzheimer's, they're in their own reality. They're okay. We are the ones having a problem being with them because we don't understand that they're okay. We think they're sick, but they're doing just fine. So I think
oftentimes the friction there is the reflection we give them. Okay, we think they are sick, and so they can perceive this, and this is maybe some of the friction that's created.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, probably in their own reality, they are just fine.
Yeah, and I remember my mother telling me a story about when she was in the home, about how all of our aunts and uncles that have all died all came over, and we had a big barbecue, and we all went swimming in the pool. And I looked in the backyard of the home, and there is no swimming pool, and there was no barbecue grill. So this was a fantasy, you know? Mm-hmm. But I remember I was talking to a neurologist about Alzheimer's, and she said, never correct them because that gets them anxious. Just they're doing fine. Just go along with what, with what they say, and they'll be okay, and you'll be okay. So I told my mother, I said, man, I would like to see Uncle Will and, Auntie Bobby and all these other people. I hope you guys had a good time. What else can you do?
Going along.
You don't want to get them upset.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tom, thank you so much for everything you shared today and all of the information that Abram brought forward as well. It was a lovely discussion.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And finally, where can people learn more about all of the great work that you do?
We have a website. Abram has a website, and it is abramchanneling.net. Abram is spelled A-B-R-A-M. abramchanneling.net.
Perfect. Tom, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you'd like to continue the journey, click on the video below.